President Trump claims that Canada isn't a real country. He wants to break us so America can own us. We will not let that happen. We're over the shock of the betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons. This is the thing about this, okay, is that Donald Trump has unified Canada. So much so to the point that Pierre Bolivar has had to work with the Trump administration to try to distance himself from their election, because the tariffs are absolutely boosting the liberals in Canada. And so what we're seeing is a unifying front coming from Canada. They are all off of Donald Trump. They do not like that. And keep in mind, Donald Trump has already said he wants to take over Canada. And speaking of which, Second Lady Usha Vance is set to visit Greenland on Thursday. Second Lady Usha Vance will travel to Greenland with her son and a United States delegation. Don't let that be mistaken. A lot of people are going to sit there and say that her going to Greenland is just for her to enjoy the scenery. That's what it is. It's to enjoy the scenery. That's all it is. But in reality, she is going to Greenland with a U.S. delegation to visit historical sites, learn about Greenlandic heritage, and attend the Avanada Kimusera, Greenland's national dog sled race. The races bring together approximately 37 mushers and 444 dogs, and a remarkable display of speed, skill, and teamwork. Mrs. Vance and the delegation are excited to witness this monumental race and celebrate Greenlandic culture and unity, and they'll return to the United States on Saturday. This is another effort by the Trump administration to normalize that the Trump administration is trying to warm up the Greenlandic people. This is an effort for them clearly to, again, take over Greenland, even though we, America first, very American first, will we agree? I don't think we would agree. This doesn't seem very America first to me. If we look here at the next thing, we can even see J.D. Vance re-emphasizing what I just stated. J.D. Vance on an interview Sunday stated, Denmark is not doing its job and isn't being a good ally. If that means we need to take more territorial interest in Greenland, that is what President Trump is going to do, because he doesn't care about what the Europeans scream at us. So this is the kind of trending theme, right? The kind of trending theme with the Trump administration is, it's just a joke, bro. It's just a joke until it's not a joke. And what we're seeing here is them wanting to expand. There's a bit of imperialism that is starting to seep through the Trump administration. Dare I say authoritarianism even seep through this administration. And we see people like Tuberville. You remember Patrick Mahomes, football coach? You remember that flub? Yeah, that guy. It's as much about for the people of Greenland as anything. If you listen to them talk, when they interview them, they're all in on it. Now, we're going to have problems with the other group across the water. You not only have the president, you not only have the vice president, you don't just have the MAGA media pundits, you have Congress trying to make Greenland the 51st state. I don't know what they're trying to achieve here. I can't tell if what they're trying to do is divide and conquer. I think what they may be trying to do is trying to get at least one territorial state just to leave that legacy. I think that is what they're trying to do here. I think that if they say, hey, we're going after Greenland, Canada, Panama Canal, they're going to see which one has the path of least resistance, and they're going to go after that one first. And so when we look at this, I think that they're seeing that Canada's off the table because of how Canada's united, and now they're focusing on Greenland. They see something there that they can do with Greenland. Anybody who says that, remember how the narrative has shifted, by the way. The narrative went from mineral rights to military bases, and to now we're just trying to do what the Greenlandic people want. So yeah, it's pretty rich how that kind of works out. So again, Donald Trump is expanding. He's trying to take over numerous countries, including Canada, even though all at the same time he is touting American sovereignty. But yet he has no problem invading other countries' sovereignty. Talked about Gaza as well. Court could get involved in the Alien Enemies Act case, which is pretty transparent here. She also had a few other comments right here. AG Bondi once again attacked members of the judiciary, criticizing federal judges who struck down or paused a portion of President Trump's agenda. Let's be very clear, this is not the only time that they've done this. There are numerous other people, like Elon Musk here, for example, saying he has a villainous look to him. You can see here the article is basically stating activist judge, like how they did that, right, quote unquote, activist judge. He's not an activist judge. Boasberg claimed J6 defendants deserved harsher charges, called for new laws to punish them. There's one issue with this. The posts flying around about this calling for new laws, if you go back here, you can see calling for new laws. That's not exactly what he was referring to. Kyle Cheney went in and explained this a little bit better. This post flying around is a total misread of Boasberg's comments. He didn't suggest Congress pass new laws to punish J6ers. He was saying the courts were dealing with relatively untested issues, laws that didn't neatly fit the conduct because Jan 6 was a sui generis crime, and many challenges were at that time working their way up the chain to SCOTUS. The law to be made, quote unquote, was via presidential rulings at the appeals court and Supreme Court level. It is extremely clear. That was great. It's extremely clear. This is what he meant if you read his entire comment, which was conveniently not linked here. And you can see it's now been amplified by both President Trump and Elon Musk. And obviously, as we saw that with the villainous look, right? And then we also see here that continuing some of this immigration talk, Kyle Cheney also saying that this is about a flight. So after Judge Boasberg ruled that there should be no more flights being sent, they're continuing to send flights. You can see here, this underscores that the administration, which is barred by the court from deporting anyone under the Alien Enemies Act for another week, has other pathways to deport them. So as soon as you go through and you find, once they say, hey, you're not able to do this, then they just find a workaround, which is the exact same thing that MAGA has complained about Joe Biden, conveniently. And here's the Judge Boasberg rejecting the Trump administration's call to rescind his TRO. And the funny thing about this is MAGA, the party of constitutional protections and the party that loves their constitutional rights, they love their constitutional rights, have now all of a sudden called for the end of due process. We can see here Carl saying, do they have any due process at all? Tom Homan replying, due process? What was Laken Riley's due process? Again, I'm going to go back to what I've talked to you guys about many, many times before. I wonder how many other people Tom Homan or other children Tom Homan can name. If you cannot name more than 5 children that were harmed by undocumented immigrants, then you're using these children for political pawns, and you should be ashamed. You should be deeply ashamed by doing that. Sorry, I'm going to call it like I see it. And second of all, Tom Homan took an oath to protect the Constitution. The same Constitution that guarantees due process rights to all individuals who touch foot on this soil. So where are you protecting the Constitution? This is diminishing the Constitution. And that's not all. We see mainstream media pundits like Brian Kilmeade calling for the end of due process, saying it's not practical to think we can do due process on 8 million people. If we're going to give every one of these guys a day in court and a lawyer, we can't do it. They don't deserve it. Let that soak in. You MAGA, who voted for Donald Trump, support this. This is why I say, now I understand, I've had a few people in my comments say, look, I know when you address this that I'm not just another MAGA. I understand there are degrees here. There are people who are Republican, there are people who are MAGA, and then there are people who are MAGA light, right? I like to say that when you ask them who they would vote for, they tend to say, I would have voted for Vivek or Ron DeSantis. You're MAGA light if that was the case. If you would have said like Ron Paul or Rand Paul, or if you were to say like, I don't know, Mitt Romney or something, whatever, then you might be more Republican. By the way, you're not a rhino for saying that, by the way. It's just that the MAGA party has taken over the Republican Party and moved the Republican Party so far right that it's unrecognizable to this day. And so anyways, the next thing is you see Pam Bondi also mentioning defending migrant rendition flights to a slave prison in El Salvador. It's basic public safety. Get these people out of our country as fast as we can. They're not immigrants. They're illegal aliens who are committing the most violent crimes you can imagine on Americans, even though we have pretty good standards right now, or pretty good belief right now, that there is an undocumented immigrant that is currently being held in an El Salvador prison who is a gay barber, to cut it short. And what seems to have happened was that he was arrested for nothing other than the tattoo of a snake on his arm. And there are people that are defending this. And they're saying that this is a case of, if that's the only one you can point out, then clearly this is the right answer, except that's not how this works. Due process is fundamental. It does not matter what crime you are accused of. And let's be very clear, the Trump administration has deported citizens, and I'll have to look for it. They have deported, not citizens, sorry. They've deported undocumented immigrants who were merely accused of said crime. I've seen a few where they pull up the orange thing and it says out on bond, right? Again, every single person who steps foot on this piece of soil is granted due process. If one person, I'll ask this question to most of the people in the audience, if one person is not granted their constitutional rights, is that a problem? And every person should say yes. Every person who is an actual patriot should say yes. One person is one person too many when due process is violated. Or how would you feel? And I know how MAGA would feel if their Second Amendment rights were taken away. Oh boy, if one person lost their Second Amendment rights, they're losing it. They're losing it. They pick and choose. This is why I sit there and say that the Democrats are far more patriotic in support of the Constitution at this very point in time than the MAGA party is currently. We see this same thing play out here, by the way, a little off key here. Colin Kalinske posted this meme, and it's 100% true. MAGA saying the tyrant Biden has been stopped. God bless the Fifth Circuit. By the way, the Fifth Circuit, I believe out of Amarillo, Texas. And one of the judges they would continuously go to, and they loved going to court shopping and finding that. But all of a sudden now that Judge Boasberg has stepped up, MAGA saying these judges should not be stepping on the toes of the executive branch. Immigrants have due process rights too. Issues injunction. So again, this is just kind of another bit of that MAGA double standard. And if you think that just because you're in this country as an undocumented immigrant, or if you're you have your green card, we've already seen how that worked out for Mahmoud Khalil. Well, we can see that playing out here. ICE detained a U.S. citizen in Northern Virginia with guns drawn. He offered to show ID and told the officers he was an American citizen, but they handcuffed him anyway. The man is a Trump voter, but says he's reconsidering his support after he was targeted for being Hispanic. And we are seeing this time and time and time and time again. They are literally stop and frisk, okay? This is stop and frisk at its prime. They are seeing somebody who has a dark skin complexion and stopping them on the streets to question their citizenship. We can also see here that the Trump administration may soon scan the social media accounts of green card and citizenship applications for hostile attitudes towards the U.S. They are looking for not just the person who's here on violation of 8 U.S.C. 1325 illegal entry. They are here for anybody. Green card as well. And keep in mind, one of the things they have done, and I don't have the article up, is that they wanted to try to actually scan the Social Security database for anybody that was paying taxes via an I-10. Any undocumented immigrant that's paying taxes via an I-10, they want to try to locate them. Why would they might want to do that? I think it's pretty clear at this point what they're trying to do. They're trying to do their best to arrest all undocumented immigrants, regardless of their temporary legal status. You can see here, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says he sold 1,000 immigration cards priced at $5 million each in one day this week. The development means $5 billion was made to help pay off the national debt. There are 37 million people in the world who are capable of buying the car. The president thinks we can sell 1 million. He thinks that they can sell 1 million of these gold cards. First of all, I need proof. I don't want to just sit here and see that, you sold 1,000 of these gold cards. Show me proof. Show me that you actually did that, because I don't see it. And of course, they're saying that Lutnick says Trump got the idea to sell a gold card during a meeting he had. It's actually a spinoff of the EB-5 visa immigrant program. And so what we're seeing here is the Trump administration eroding our Constitution piece by piece by piece. And they tried going after, and this is probably what's happening, is they tried going after the violent undocumented immigrants, and they kind of ran out. So now they're trying to meet their quota by going after legal immigrants, green card holders, temporary protective status, you name it, they're going after it. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before they start going after DACA. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell to get notified of all future videos. And I hope you watch the next video. Thank you so much.